deck with evil dead chick. What's in store when you open the door? Step inside, my little ones. Bring your flashlight and good luck charms. Oh, and good luck charms. Oh. Might get dark. It might get scary. Maybe even a little insane. Crawl out from under the bed. Don't be afraid. Evil Dead Chick is here to entertain and thrill. Dead Eyes on deck with Evil Dead Chick. Let's hang out till the sun comes up.
Howdy, gang. Might not have anybody in here tonight, and that I blame entirely on myself because I had to push the time ahead and ahead because I was trying to finish watching these movies, one of which, The Magician of Lublin, was almost 2 hours long. And with me working, no matter how hard I tried to watch parts of The Magician of Lublin, which is the second movie I'm going to talk about, but I was watching it first in an attempt to try to get it watched before it got to the evening, and then watching Going Steady, which was a shorter film, a much shorter film than The Magician of Lublin. However, as things a lot of times don't work out, um, I had it set at 8, then I had to set it at 9, then I had to set it at 9:30, unfortunately. But I hope that those of you that don't get to watch this now, as I'm doing it live, will get to watch it on the replay. And may, find it interesting enough that you may seek these two movies out. I will tell you that Going Steady, you can watch on Daily Motion. So The Magician of Lublin, you can watch on YouTube. Not a very good copy. It's a little fuzzy in places, but you can watch it for free on YouTube. And as I said before, you can watch Going Steady on Daily Motion with some commercials interspersed in there, sadly. So, those of you that end up coming in here to watch me, I want to thank you in advance. Those of you that will watch this on the replay, I thank you in advance as well. So let's go ahead and get some housekeeping stuff out of the way, because I love doing these things, but I don't want to be back in this room where my computer's at any longer than I have to. Again, even though I've got this space heater running behind me, I am freezing to death back here. I think we're supposed to get some more snow tonight or real early Thursday morning. I don't think it's going to be a whole lot, but we shall see when I get up in the morning. We shall see how much snow is here. So I want to thank those of you that already put your votes in. There's been several votes on the next couple of watch-alongs that I'm going to do. Now, this weekend's watch-alongs were picked by you guys that voted. Toolbox Murders will be Saturday night, starting at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Sunday night's movie will be Girls Night Out, which once again, I was shocked that very many people, enough people that voted on it that it won for Sunday night at 7 o'clock. Girls Night Out, I didn't think hardly anybody knew about that movie. And it may be due to Arrow releasing, a few years ago, releasing Girls Night Out. That may have, kind of reinvigorated an interest in it. That was also under the title of The Scare Maker as well. I think The Scare Maker might have been a better title for a horror movie than Girls Night Out. Girls Night Out sounds kind of like a sex comedy or something, but what are you going to do? So I've got another set of 3 movies each for the next time I do a watch along or watch alongs. It will not be until March. So you can see the dates on there. I think it may be March 8th and 9th. That I'm doing those. So make sure you get your votes in. I will have the voting up on those until the Monday of the watch alongs, and then I will lock the votes down and pick a winner. So if you want to have a say so, make sure you get your votes in before the Monday, before that weekend of the watch alongs. Okay. So, I think me and Candace are having, hey, Mormo. I think me and Candace are going to finally have Friday Foolish this Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. We're hopefully going to finally finish up our David Lynch special, The Genius of David Lynch, Part 2. And then we'll probably be switching back over to Into the Zone, where we talk about the episodes of the Twilight Zone. Hey, Blissful. So let's see if there's anything I got coming up. Well, another Soup and Jallo should be up at some point this weekend. Those are the shorts I'm doing where I talk a little bit about a soup I made and pair it with a Jallo. And this week, we're going to be doing an American Jallo. So I'll have y'all take guesses at which American Jallo I'm going to be covering. I like to mix it up a little bit. I'm also going to be attempting to do the movie Munchies that I wanted to do last weekend and did not get to that because I was not feeling well. So I'm hoping that this weekend I can do the gory bleeding heart cakes. And I hope that you guys and gals will enjoy that. Also, I'm at some point going to be having a couple of new series out. One will be on sex comedies of the 80s. I don't know when I'm going to be doing that, but the second one, They're All Messed Up is going to be about great kills in slasher movies from 1970 to 1989. I'm going to be covering a couple of films each week. I don't know what day I'm going to do this on just yet. I've still got to work out the details. I'm still working on my intro. And hopefully you guys will enjoy that. And I don't even have a title for the sex comedies of the 80s set of streams yet. Let's see, that may be all for now. But y'all just stay tuned on all that. And so without further ado, I'm going to get to these movies, which the first movie is what they used to refer to as a lemon popsicle movie. And some of you might be saying, lemon popsicle, what in the heck is that? But like Last American Virgin, if you've seen Last American Virgin, as X-Ray said last night when I was doing the Dick's Pick stream, X-Ray said that Last American Virgin was basically a remake of the Lemon Popsicle movies. The Lemon Popsicle movies are some foreign films. These are dubbed, I think, which may take a little bit away from the watchability or the interest in them, at least for people in the United States. I'm not putting them down, but I will get to more about the details of this particular lemon popsicle, which was referred to as Lemon Popsicle 2. I didn't know there were so many. There's like at least 7, maybe 8 or more of these Lemon Popsicle movies. But this one was the second one. Came out in 1979. They're basically teen sex comedies, with maybe a little less nudity in them. I mean, they have cursing in them, they have nudity, they have sex in them. So that's what they reminded me of. And it seemed like they were the precursor to things like Private School and, all those others that came out in the early to mid 80s, and some of them in the late 80s as well. And, we've had teen sex comedies in more recent years. I mean, well, several years ago, there were the American Pie movies. Those were teen sex comedies. And people seem to really love them, including my dad, who liked the original, sex comedies. He liked Private School, and he liked Fast Times at Ridgemont High, and all of those types of films. So I can see where the Lemon Popsicle movies were definitely an inspiration for those movies that were to come later. So Going Steady, like I said, it came out in 1979. Actually, both of these movies I'm going to be talking about tonight are the final ones in the 70s canon film fodder that I've been talking about that were produced by Golan and Globus. I thought they were brothers. They were actually cousins. I don't know if I said that on the first episode of Canon Fodder. And they are Israeli. One of them has passed away. I forget which one, but has since passed away. And the other one is still living. They did a lot of films that, focused on Jewish people. For instance, Operation Thunderbolt that I talked about a week or so ago. But anyway, to get back to Going Steady, like I said, it's pretty much your standard teen sex comedy. You have Benji and Bobby and Huey, Huey is the typical overweight kid that people make fun of, and he wants to fit in. And he's got a girlfriend who looks kind of nerdy when you first look at her, but when she takes her glasses off and takes her hair down, she looks quite a bit different. And that's Martha. Martha is Huey's girlfriend. Benji is like our main boy in this story or this film. And he has his sights set on Tammy, who he thinks is this an absolute goddess, this new girl in town, new girl in school, and he's head over heels in love with her. But as with most young men, young boys, he really doesn't know how to act around her. And when things go awry, for instance, he wants to have sex with her pretty quickly. And she starts crying, and she's not ready for this. He starts unbuttoning her blouse, and she's like, no, I want to go home, I want to leave. And he's confused and he's angry. He doesn't know what's wrong with her. He keeps asking her why is she crying. She won't answer him. She just wants to go home. So he gets angry, tells his friends she can basically go to hell for all he cares. He's I guess, sexually frustrated, and the girl's kind of rebuffed him. She turned him turned him away, turned off his advances, and all that. And so he turns to drinking. And Huey's girlfriend, who has been wanting to sleep with Benji for a long time, just comes in the room where Benji is visibly drunk, um, takes all her clothes off and starts rubbing around on him. And he's drunk. He doesn't really know. I think he thinks it's Tammy. And when he comes to himself and sees that it's Martha, he pushes her off. Well, there's a lot of back and forth that goes on between Benji getting together with Tammy, breaking up with Tammy, getting back together with her, and then something else will happen. And there's a lot of misinformation going around and a lot of teenage hijinks and all of that. Now, all that was fine. The problem I had with the movie, and this may have been totally due to dubbing, um, is that the performances seem stiff. They seem forced. I'm sorry, I'm so cold I can't even talk back here. Um, they seemed wooden. And that's the only thing that really bothered me about the film as a whole. Other than that, I thought it was a pretty decent film. If you like teen sex comedies, if you've watched any of the other quote unquote lemon popsicle movies, you will probably find this one interesting. It does take place in the 50s as well. So there's a lot of 50s music playing in the background. But they must have only had the rights to certain songs, because you would hear some songs more than once, like Lucille. You would hear it more than once. Yeah, I don't want to get chilled, Blissful. I definitely don't want to do that. Because I've been sick on and off, for the past month or so. So I don't think I need to tell y'all any more about the movie. I would just, suggest, if you seem at all interested in it, to check it out on Daily Motion, unless you can figure out another place to find it. But that was the only place I could find it. So I can't go as far as to give this one a 4, but y'all just imagine that half. I know, don't have it yet, but I'll give Going Steady a 3.5. Okay. So moving on to The Magician of Lublin. Honestly, folks, this would not be a movie that I would have chosen to watch if I wasn't doing this series of streams. I'll just be totally honest. It did not seem to be my cup of tea. But I got really wrapped up in the storyline. But it has a very, very dark ending, including a suicide of one of the main characters. And I totally, I was not expecting that, and it was very unsettling. because the person that commits suicide, they commit suicide by hanging. And before they hang themselves, they cut a bunch more of their hair off. They cut a bunch of their hair. The woman had real long hair at the beginning of the film, and then she went wild and cut a bunch of her hair off. And then she cut even more off before she commits suicide. But she painted her face like a clown, and it was just the most bizarre thing when her body is found hanging, to see that clown face. That it's still unsettling when I think about it, and totally unexpected. But uh, Alan Arkin is the main character. Uh, what is his name? Is it Yashi? I think it's Yashi. Now, keep in mind, this takes place in, I believe, the early 1900s in Poland. It starts out in Poland. And so Alan Arkin plays Yashi, sorry, who is a magician, an entertainer, but he's also a little bit of a ladies' man. And he has a wife. Okay, let's see if we can all keep this straight. He has a wife. He's making time with his assistant, his magician's assistant, who is totally head over heels in love with him and suffers throughout the film because of this. He's in love with Louise Fletcher's character, who seems to be a well-to-do woman. I just no offense to Louise Fletcher, but I always thought of Louise Fletcher as an older, more mature woman. And Alan Arkin, he probably wasn't young during this, but he looked younger than Louise Fletcher. And I just did not think that their relationship fit. But he was evidently, I don't think the guy knew what love was, but he claimed to be head over heels in love with Louise Fletcher's character. And he pursues her and he pursues her and he pursues her. And he promises her things, and none of these things ever happen. And he promises things for her and her daughter, who I don't know if they ever describe the illness she has. I mean, I don't know if it's something like tuberculosis, because she's coughing really hard at one time, and she ends up in a sanatorium towards the end of the film. And the daughter is played by Lisa Whelchel, or Welchel, however you pronounce it, Blair from The Facts of Life. That'll tell you which girl that is, because I'm sure a lot of you have seen The Facts of Life. And so he's also, I hate to call her the village whore, but that's what she seems like. He's also been making time with this chick, and it's like, how many women does this guy have? And like, what is so special about him? I'm guessing he's a charmer. I mean, I've known guys in my life that could literally charm the dresses right off of women, but usually those guys aren't too good about sticking around for the long haul. They just basically go from woman to woman to woman. So I'm glad I never got involved with any of them that I've known over the years. So he wants to make money. He claims he wants to, help Louise Fletcher. He wants to marry her, but he's already married. He's got a wife. And he's evidently promising all these other women that he's got relationships with the same thing. And his magician's assistant, she's a little unstable. I kind of felt sorry for her throughout the movie. But she was clearly unstable from the very beginning. And unfortunately, it's not, and you guys might be able to figure this out if you remember what I said at the beginning. Um, it's not going to end well for her. And in many, many ways, it doesn't end well for Yashi as well. So it's about relationships. It's about wanting to make something of yourself. It's about tragedy. It's about disappointments. It's about loss of life, illness. I mean, it's poverty. It's about so many things. And it's a very well made movie. And because of that, I am going to give it, uh, I am going to give it 4 deadites out of 5. Even though towards the end with the suicide and what ultimately happens to Yashi, um, it made me sad. It's still sticking with me. The image of the suicide is really sticking with me. So make sure you're in a really, really good mood before you sit down to watch this. Like I said, it is available for free on YouTube under the title The Magician of Lublin. But also keep in mind that it is almost 2 hours long as well. I think me talking about suicide, I think I lost everybody. I apologize. I apologize for that. So, I guess that's it for me for this edition of Cannon Fodder. I should be back next week with another Dick's Picks and also another Cannon Fodder, and we will be moving into the 80s. This is probably going to be more of the films that people remember from the Cannon films, Golan Globus era. So I hope that you guys will join me for all of that coming up next week. And also, I hope, unless something happens and me and Candace don't get to do Friday Foolish, I hope you will join me and Candace for the second part of The Genius of David Lynch, Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. I hope you will join me for both of the watch alongs for Toolbox Murders on Saturday night starting at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, and Girls Night Out for Sunday night, also starting at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Stay tuned also for another Soup and Jallos this weekend and a new movie Munchies. And who knows what else I'll have next week. Maybe I'll have one of the They're All Messed Up ready to go, and y'all can join me for that. And that's it. I am off like a dirty shirt. This shirt ain't dirty, but I'm off like one. And I want to remind everybody, as I always do before I get off of here for the night, to be kind to one another and blaze that trail. Have a fantastic rest of your Wednesday, folks. We don't have too much more left in the week. And I'll see everybody next time.